Hey, it's day 3 at Spooky Empire.
We're getting ready to go in and do some interviews. You ready?
Yes.
Let's do it.
We are here with the fabulous David Naughton. We are so excited.
Hi, yay.
We're excited.
I'm excited too. What's up, ladies?
Well, we want to tell you, American World from London. It was my introduction to her. I don't know, she's older than me, so I don't know what hers was, but yeah, it was my first.
She always she's older,
that
older, whatever.
I'm older.
I'm older and wiser.
So, it was my first introduction to the horror genre. And I always remember my mom telling me to close my eyes at the certain scenes. And I still have a hard time with these scenes. And one that stands out is the dream sequence with the hospital in the woods. And it scared the hell out of us. And what is a scene from a horror film that stuck with you after you saw it?
Well, that's a particularly scary moment.
Yeah.
You know? And I just remember wearing those glass lenses in my eyes for, what was supposed to be 20 minutes. It turned out to be about 2 hours of glass lens stuff. But that was scary. Just being in the hospital bed, and Jenny Agutter opens the blinds, pulls the curtains apart, and there's a guy there with a knife. That's a big scare in the movie as well. Yeah, there are a few of them.
Is there anything that you've seen, like horror movies, that stick out to you that kind of messed with you and you're like, oh
gosh, I didn't watch a lot of them when I was young because I was just too chicken. But once I did this movie, then I went out and saw lots of films and tried to see if I could get as scared as people who were scared in this movie.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yesterday you saw me dressed up as the Shining twins.
I know it. So great.
We were just planning on coming here walking around like that, and then we started saying the lines, and we said, let's just go and play with it. And we came here, and we did, and we really got into character. It made us think about you and how, when you went through the transformation and you saw yourself in that makeup for the first time, you must have been kind of floored. How did that help you with the role?
Well, by that point, we had shot the entire movie and just had that transformation scene to shoot at the very end of the film. So I knew what it was going to take to actually have to go through that. And finally seeing it in its final form, in its finished, cut, edited form, was really quite, I was very pleased with it. So I said, I can't wait for folks to see this and see if it scares them. And it did.
Oh, yes, it did.
We're both vegetarians, and I'm curious, what were you eating in the woods? What was that?
Oh, it was a big old steak, big old filet mignon.
Was it really?
Yes, it was.
Oh my gosh.
Ate Pepsi.
Yes. We enjoyed
Maybe that's
that.
why we became vegetarians.
That's why you became in. I used to say I have a bone to pick with you. So there.
We found a couple of articles talking about the symbolism of the mutant Nazis and the dream sequences. Now, those scenes were totally terrifying to us when we were kids. We didn't understand, obviously, we were young and didn't really get the meaning behind that. So, but those people who did understand the symbolism, how do you think that element added to the overall impact of the story?
Well, I know it's a very confusing scene to be at home. The doorbell rings and there are these Nazi demons. But for John Landis, who wrote it, that was as horrific as it could be for a guy like you. It's like, what would happen if your doorbell rang and there were Nazis at your door? That was as horrific as he could imagine. And having Rick Baker and his associates make those masks made it particularly horrific.
What is your favorite horror film of all time?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I have one.
Oh yeah, you did say it before.
Yeah, I was probably just saying, yeah, I guess I'm just a werewolf fan.
Yeah.
I'm a wolf fan. I certainly enjoyed it when I first saw it.
Do you have anything upcoming that you are allowed to
Not really.
discuss?
We're still, waiting for the settlement for this for a strike. So I've been a dues-paying union member for 40-something years. So I'm just waiting for the call.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.
Can we get a
Appreciate it.
hug?
Yeah,
Come on,
we get a hug.
hug. Real quiet. Woohoo!
You're now officially part of the Blondetourage entourage. David Naughton, everybody. Okay. We are standing here with the one, the only, Lou Diamond Phillips. Thank you so much.
Says so right up there.
But we have to tell you something.
Okay.
We came up with a nickname for you. Actually, two of them. We can't figure out which one we like better.
I want to call you Lou Cutie Phillips.
And I want to call you Lou Diamond Phillips.
So,
Wow.
do you prefer one over the other?
It's all where you put the cutie, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
No, we've been talking about you the entire weekend since we met you on Friday night, and we just keep calling you one or the other. So, but you're amazing. And
Or
you've
it could
been
be cutie diamond Phillips.
Yes!
Oh, I like
Is that
There you
too?
go, Cutie Diamond Phillips.
CDP.
So, a couple questions for you, and thanks for agreeing to do this. You've played such a wide variety of characters in your career. Is there one that was, say, the most challenging, and by default, does that make it the most rewarding?
A number of them, have been incredibly challenging, either physically or emotionally or whatever. In La Bamba, I did not play guitars or anything like that. I had to beat for 16 songs. Had to, live up to the family's expectations. But then there are other films, like The Night Stalker, The 34, where I had to lose weight, or other the action films where it's really physically demanding. I try not to repeat myself, and I try to do, many different kinds of roles. And it's fun because I continually find new things to do, new ways to challenge myself.
That's great. You were nominated for a Tony?
Yes.
For The King and I?
I was indeed.
That's
Bravo.
amazing. And we were actually stage actresses back in the day. And we always said there was nothing like performing in front of a live audience. And to look out at the audience during curtain call was seriously the most amazing feeling. What are your feelings on the difference between stage acting and film acting?
Well, the preparation, is a little different. But I mean, good acting is good acting, and if you're starting from a place of truth, after that, it's about technicality. When you're on stage, you obviously have to project. You have to be with the audience. You're doing a show at 3 hours at a clip. Film acting and television acting is much more about knowing the character inside and out, because you're going to do it out of order. You're going to do it multiple times, and you're going to be spending 10, 12 hours on set every single day. So that's a different kind of stuff. I love them both immensely. I wouldn't want to give either of them up. And I've often said that the fan conventions are very much like a stage tour, where we've had a shared experience, and you get to meet people, feel their appreciation, and hopefully they feel my appreciation for all the support.
We actually were we were in a few plays together.
Nice.
And we had a few incidents where we would break character because we were just very silly, and I actually got a couple of roles taken away from me because they were just so angry. Like, did you ever get in a situation when you're on stage where you just broke character and you could not control yourself? And how did you handle that?
No, I've never broken character. There have been a number of situations where the cast will get the giggles or something like that. But, you struggle to get back there. On occasion, you've gone up and the line just goes right out of your head. But yeah, that's the beauty of the tightrope is live theater. You got to get right back on it and try not to interrupt the flow of the show.
So what's next for you?
You know what? I've got a bunch of films in the can. I can't really talk about anything coming out because of the strike right now.
Yes.
But I do have a film coming out in the spring and a couple that are going to be doing film festivals.
We'll be looking for it.
Definitely.
One last question. What's your favorite horror movie? All-time favorite horror?
Oh my gosh. There's a few. Recently showed Jaws to my 16-year-old, and she loved that. But I've always been a big fan of The Exorcist. I think it's like one of the scariest thing ever made.
Ever.
Yep.
And the first Alien was like,
Those are our faves.
crazy.
Yeah.
We appreciate this so much. And can we just give you a big hug?
Yay! It's a Blondetourage
It's a double
bag.
Dutch.
He's officially part of the Blondetourage entourage.
Nice.
Lou Diamond Phillips, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're on.
There we go. There we go. The light's on. Hello.
You have no idea how excited we are to meet you.
Hello. Well, I met you yesterday and
Yes.
you looked amazing.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I have to say that Shaun of the Dead is one of my favorite, our favorite horror comedies of all time.
Right.
Probably one of my favorite films of all time.
Thank you very
actually.
much.
And I know that you and Simon were flatmates
Yeah.
and best friends. Still best friends?
Yes,
Yes, yes. And Edgar?
Yeah. Yeah, we're all still best friends.
That's awesome.
Thank
Angela
you.
and I, we're best friends. We're sisters,
Yes.
best friends, and we used to perform together a lot.
Okay.
We used to break all the time on stage.
Couldn't keep a straight face,
Well, that's
crack
fine.
up,
She had a line taken away from her because we couldn't hold hands
and say the
the
line.
line.
okay.
I don't even want to do it because
Yeah,
we'll
I know,
laugh.
we'll
But
laugh.
anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, my point is, how long did it take you to film Shaun of the Dead? Because I don't know how you
Oh,
guys did that so many times.
We're very professional.
No.
We're very professional,
Yeah.
and if we laugh, Edgar gets really cross at us.
You guys
So
what?
He gets cross.
Cross.
He gets mad. So we don't tend to not laugh. I mean,
You seriously don't like have.
we laugh a bit, but I mean, we just work. We're there to work, because what we want to, the thing we want to make, we haven't got time to.
Yeah.
I know it sounds boring, but I mean, it's fun and we love it. And yes, we obviously laugh, but if there was ever a point where the two of us couldn't look at each other or we were laughing too much, you can hear Edgar saying, "Come on, guys," and then it's like, "Oh,
It's like,
shit."
okay,
Yeah, right.
put the face on, let's get back into character.
Just curious, was there a lot of improv? Were you given any liberties?
No, well, when we rehearsed, we could improvise then, and then if anything funny happened during rehearsals, generally it would be rewritten, the script would be rewritten and that would be put in.
That's cool.
And then again, because we haven't got time to improvise on set, so anything that worked in the rehearsal room, that got put in the film, and then we just shot it like it was. And then we're such good actors that we can appear that it's all right.
That's great. One of the other questions I had was about the comedy horror aspect. It's hard to pull that off, and you did it most recently. Renfield. I don't know if you've seen Renfield. Really good. Highly recommend. What do you think it takes to be able to pull that off?
I'd say don't undercut one with the other. It's allowed to be a horror film and it's allowed to be funny. You're allowed to make a horror film that's funny. I don't know. I think it's like human beings. You're never one thing or the other. You're everything. So try to make that film it's allowed to be funny and it's also allowed to be, but it has to be both.
Right.
You can't undercut the scares with punchlines or you know what I mean?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
So, what's your favorite horror movie of all time?
Oh God, my brain does not work like that. I mean, I think historically, the thing I've seen the most, and probably the earliest horror film I saw was Exorcist. So, and also I have a big soft spot for Poltergeist.
Two of our favorites.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, and in terms of more modern horror, I get, obviously when you watch just tons of horror, you become quite critical in terms of how it's shot and how it's made and
Yes.
do the scares work. But one modern, Hereditary just fucking terrifies me.
That is my scariest recent
Now,
film.
I oddly think the ending's really happy. It's a happy ending. But I think
It's interesting.
I hope this never happens. But I think I kind of enjoy being Lord Payment. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, now I'm payment. It's like, you don't have to worry about paying bills anymore or tax or you're now Lord Payment.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
Incarnate,
Well, thank you so much. We
It's a
just have
pleasure.
one last question.
Okay.
What's next for you?
Oh, I don't know. I did lots, but I mean, it's the SAG thing. I'm not really.
Yes, yes.
I wrote a book, and that's coming out here in January. So it's a recipe book. So.
Oh my God, really?
A memoir as well. So.
That's fantastic.
Can we give you a hug,
Yes,
please?
yeah. Yes.
Yay! Oh, God.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
guys.
much.
You're
We
more than
appreciate
welcome.
you.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, we're here with the very beautiful Jenna Jameson.
What's up, guys?
Thank you so much for agreeing to sit with us. We're here to answer a couple questions.
I gotcha. So you've had quite an interesting life. Lots of peaks and valleys, and all within the public eye and under a microscope, right?
No doubt.
During the difficult times, what was it that motivated you to keep pushing forward and never give up?
I think that I have a certain integrity that no matter what the outside feels, I know who I am, and I knew that I've always been a really strong girl, so I just knew that I just had to keep trudging forward and I'd get better. I mean, through all my health struggles, through all my relationships, I just knew I believe in myself, and that kind of brought me through. Yeah. Good stuff.
I wanted to share with you, I had my last drink on Christmas Eve of 2018.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Keep
so
coming
much.
back.
Thank you, and I understand you are sober,
Yes.
and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
What are some of the words and of inspiration that you can give people who are struggling with addiction or in recovery?
I think that a lot of the times we just have to look inward. Everybody always has something to say about it, has their own opinions, but as an addict, you have to kind of take a look at yourself and say, I'm not the best I can be. And I knew that sooner or later, I was no longer going to be Jenna Jameson if I kept going at it the way I was.
Yeah.
And I realized that I'm such a better human sober.
Yes.
Because me wasted is not good.
Right.
Like zero feelings, and I always tried to cover up my feelings coming from this like industry I came from. So once I really started getting in touch with my real feelings in my heart, I realized people like me for me, not just being Jenna Jameson.
Right,
So sobriety to me is my ultimate gift because it's my true self.
I love that.
Yeah.
An inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you are at a horror con.
Yes.
Do you like horror films?
Listen, I am the ultimate horror fangirl. And I have been
Nice.
from the time I was young. Like the first books I read were Stephen King.
Absolutely. Same here.
Right?
Yep.
So it kind of formed me. And my favorite movie when I was young was The Thing,
Oh,
John
I love
Carpenter.
it. Do you know I saw that for the first time probably about 2 years ago? I can't believe I missed that.
Good. And Kurt Russell.
Oh,
I mean, come on now. So yeah, I've always been a big fan, and you know, when I got the chance to like kind of dabble in horror movies, I jumped at the chance, and it was kind of good fit. You know, having come from porn into horror, it's kind of a good little marriage.
Sure.
So
You're like the perfect scream queen.
right?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Come on now.
We know that.
I love that.
So we just were curious to know what is next for you. What do you want to do? Where do you want to be in the next 5 years?
Well, okay, so right now I am steady on the circuit of all the conventions, which I kind of want to touch base with my fans, say I'm back. Me and my wife, we just finished a new horror movie that's coming out this spring that's called Only 7 Days. And it's a werewolf movie.
Love it.
I've never done one, so I was so stoked. And like always, I thought, listen, I'm a good guy. So you got to tune into it just to see
Absolutely.
What's the name of it?
Only 7 days.
Only 7 days. Make sure you guys check that out.
Yes.
Jenna, thank you so much. You are absolutely beautiful. You're an inspiration. You're a strong woman, resilient, and we admire you.
Thank you
Can we
so
give you a
much.
hug?
That
Can we
means
give
a
you a hug?
lot.
Really.
Listen, woman power, guys.
Seriously.
Thank you so much.
Now, we have to ask you another question. You got blonde hair. Do you like maybe want to be part of Blondetourage? You're already in the Blondetourage.
Can I be the sidekick?
Absolutely.
I love it.
Official member right here. Thank you, Jenna.
Love you guys.
You're amazing. Thank you. Okay, everybody, we're here with the very beautiful, very talented Rose McGowan. Rose, thank you so much for agreeing to sit with us for a few minutes. It's an honor. It really is. You are known for being a strong advocate for women's rights, using your platform to champion equality and justice. Just want to mention the Me Too movement. Natalie and I had to really face some trauma of our own, as did millions of other women.
Men too.
Men
Yeah,
too.
I always leave
Good point.
men out of the conversation, and I find that to be really tragic. And so that is one correction. I'm sorry. I know.
I'm glad you
There was
did.
definitely a period where people had to face discomfort, and you know, no one wants to look at that stuff. It's not fun.
No.
It's not for anybody. But sometimes in society, it's time to like look at the wound, clean it up, dress it properly, address it, and move on as a healthier society.
And that brings me to the question, like, how do you continue to empower yourself and inspire others, even when there are so many people out there who try to like silence it still to this day? How do you keep it going?
I don't really focus on it or keep it going. I did what I came to do, and I got the fuck out. I
love you.
I lived my own life. I never wanted to have to do that. It was more about being stalked for many years by a person who assaulted me, and that was what I was trying to stop. It was just behind the scenes stalking. And I thought if it's happening to me, it's happening to everybody, and we're better than this, and let's go. But I'm really quite done with it, and I just want to live my life and be a free person.
Amazing. Amazing. What is your favorite horror film?
What's my favorite horror film? I'd have to say Scream and The Exorcist, those two. The Exorcist still scares the crap out of me. I don't think it can be made today because it's too intense and too cerebral, too smart. But I mean, that one still scares me to this day. I haven't seen that many horror films because I get scared really easily. I don't like jump scares especially. But I like just smart, anything really intelligent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it true that you did your own designing of your costume in Scream?
Definitely.
That's awesome.
The red and white striped pants were mine, the white boots were mine, and then I went shopping at the mall the night before we shot.
Wow. What's next for you?
I'm just trying to rebuild my health in my life and reach the goal when I feel like living a private life and I feel like so good.
Just for you. Well, thank you so much. Can we give you a hug? Thank you.
The number one advice I would have for your
Hey, Blondetourage here with the one, the only Brian Krause. Thank you so much for agreeing to sit down with us for a couple of minutes and answer some questions.
Thank you.
So you've had a very long career. You've worn many hats. Exactly. Acting on screen, on stage. You've done voiceovers, yeah?
Yeah.
Directing, producing. Which do you prefer and why?
I'll always be an actor. It's what I do. I think it's the most gratifying and most fun thing. I think I'm a kid. I spent a lot of time on the playground, a lot of time alone, pretending, make-believes, and creating this, fantasy world. So life didn't hurt so much, I guess. So, acting kind of became, it's my escape. It's kind of, I love directing and I'd love to do more of that, kind of putting my own vision out, but nothing beats acting. It's the most fun job in the world. It's, you're like a kid, you play pretend. I got you! Like all that stuff. Thanks. I just died there.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Sleepwalkers. Initially got an NC-17 rating
Right.
and had some scenes cut. What were those scenes?
Well, it would have to do with nudity and maybe a little too forced gore.
Okay.
But I think part of it was there's a love story involved with my mother, which is not really my mother. She's an alien. I'm an alien, so we were pretending to be. But we were pretty naked in that, and
It was pretty racy.
it was amazing.
You know what's funny? In today's day and age, I don't feel that would have been a thing now. Do you think that we're just like desensitized?
Listen, it was 1991, 92 that it came out, so FCC ratings have totally changed.
Yeah.
And now with the advent of not just Instagram and TikTok and OnlyFans and everything that is porn everywhere, what we did in that movie is now probably PG-13.
Exactly.
Well, we heard something very interesting that you originally wanted to study medicine. And what was it that led you to choose a different career path?
Well, initially I wanted to play soccer and be on a world stage. And it was in the 80s. American soccer was nothing. And I realized after a year of playing that I was no world-class player. So I had gotten into sports medicine. So I wanted to be like a trainer and still be with the pro athletes and be that sort of thing. But it's a 6-year journey to get through school, and I had already been acting at the time, so knowing that I had that in front of me, I decided I'm going to give this a year now, see what happens, because I have a 6-year journey of school at least ahead of me, so let's give this a year now. I was already getting like callbacks and stuff on some little commercials and stuff, so I said, all right, maybe now's the time to try it, as opposed to at mid-20s when I'm out of school. So I took a year off school and, got a full-time job, started driving to LA every day, and, within a year I had done, 4 or 5 things, and, the thought of school was, every time I signed up to go back, I did a job. So
the universe was telling you
I just keep signing up for school for the last 30-some years, and
What is your favorite horror film?
Sleepwalkers.
Is it?
I mean, come on. Horror scares me.
Even if you get out of it, like you're already
the scariest movie, I think, I don't even know if it's horror. It's The Strangers, right?
That's scary.
Yes.
Because you were home.
Home invasion.
Because you were home.
Yeah.
Yep. Real life stuff.
I know.
Good one. Good one. That's on our top 10 list.
That thing, that is scary.
And just tell us what's next for you.
Well, I did a horror movie last year called Sleigh Ride, and it's like the Kris Kringle Killer. So it's
Fun.
It's a holiday horror,
Love it.
small independent movie. A friend of mine, Olivia Dunkley, she wrote it, produced it, directed it. This is her first foray into it. So when she said she was doing something, I'm like, let's fucking go.
Awesome.
So I hope it turns into something for her. And I just booked a role on something that I don't know if I can talk about it.
Okay, well, we're going to keep our eyes and ears open to find out. And thank you so much. Can I give you a hug?
Of course. Part of the Blondetourage.
You're part of the Blondetourage. Yes, that's Blondetourage Entourage. Thank you so much for your time. It was such a pleasure meeting you. All right. Here we are with the famous Bill Moseley, and we have a special connection with him because we carried his luggage at another horror con.
Many years ago.
Yes.
Years ago when I was angry infant.
Bill, the Firefly family. So evil. So malicious. What the family is doing is horrific, but at the end of Devil's Rejects, you're rooting for them.
Mm-hmm.
How is this possible? How does this happen? What?
Because we're just like any other family. I mean, we do kill some people, but it's not that big a deal these days. Especially nowadays in the USA. So we're just like any other family. We squabble.
Yeah.
When anybody on the outside tries to threaten us, we unite.
Yeah.
And
Family bond.
And we have a lot of we're funny. We have a real sense of humor. And we kill and eat people. What's the big fucking deal?
I loved your banter in the van too with the Tutti fucking fruity and there's no ice cream in your future. It was brilliant.
Well, let's talk about your monologues are very reminiscent of like a Charles Manson kind of thing. And did he give you any liberties? Did Rob give you any liberties with the role? Did you get to improv any of that, or was it all scripted?
It was pretty much all scripted. The only thing I added was hope it don't rust the barrel. If you remember that scene. I drop in a couple of things here and there, but mostly it's Rob.
Yeah.
And Rob is, he sees it in his head, he writes it, and we just try to, make it real.
That's awesome.
It's great. Otis Firefly has a lot of kills under his belt. What is his favorite kill?
I think hacking up Rainn Wilson.
Fishbowl.
That was my favorite too.
Chopping him up with a little axe during Brick House. And then,
that was so
fantastic.
Ooh, that really, it felt real because it looked like documentary style.
Yeah, it was documentary style.
Yeah.
Well, we only cut off one arm. But he's okay. He's done really well for himself.
Do you still talk to him?
Yeah, I saw him about it 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Okay. What is your favorite horror film? Not that you were in, but your favorite horror film
to watch
you've ever seen?
Yeah.
Well, I think the best one I've ever seen is The Exorcist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a fan favorite today.
Yeah, I mean, because it's just so incredibly good.
Yeah.
The story is good, the acting is good, everything about it is fantastic. And I'm a personal friend of Linda Blair.
Oh,
She has a dog rescue, and she rescues dogs outside of Los Angeles. She's I think it's pretty much exclusively pit bulls. And I think she has a place, it's called the World Heart Foundation, where I think there's maybe 100 kennels or 100 dog houses.
Yeah.
So she has that many at sometimes.
Wow.
So she is awesome. But I loved her as Reagan. I thought that was amazing. I also certainly got to give a shout out to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which really blew my mind.
It's
and
gruesome.
it was really responsible for my career. Because I was so freaked out by it, I ended up trying to just get it out of my head or modify it. I made a short film called The Texas Chainsaw Manicure, set in a beauty parlor.
no.
And it's like 5 minutes, and I did it years ago, like maybe 84. And a friend of mine showed a copy to Toby Hooper, and I gave myself the part of the hitchhiker, a little cameo at the end of the Manicure. And Toby liked what I did as the hitchhiker character, and that's how I got hired as a chop tech.
No way! What a
And
fun
that
fact!
totally turned it around, because I was just terrified of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre until I joined the family. And then I was like, all right, yeah, this is great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Incredible. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking the time
My
to
pleasure.
speak with us, and we're huge fans, and we can't wait to see you again. Maybe we can carry your luggage when you leave tomorrow.
Yes, I won't be disgruntled, I promise.
Can we get a hug?
Yeah.
Entourage, entourage. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you so much, Bill.
We appreciate you.
And I appreciate this. This is my kind of thing.
Yeah, that was really professional, wasn't
I
it?
know.
That was
your
awesome.
arms and your
Oh my
battery
God,
pack.
like seriously.
Yeah.
Oh,